We have described Anajali Primary School as an oasis, a place where great minds are being nurtured and brought up to bring a change or a transformation to this society. What is the history of Anajali Primary School?
Just like any other school, Anajali has its own history, and it's unique in a way because it was started 16 years ago with 3 street children, and they challenged me because instead of asking for food, they were in need of education, shelter, food, and etc. So I thought it would be good for me to offer them education since I am a career teacher. And that's how Anajali was born. And Anajali basically means God cares, He cares. Anajali. It's a Swahili word. Because I thought that since God had cared for me to get to where I was when I met these 3 children, I had a responsibility to also care for others. And that's how Anajali was born.
There's a story earlier on when we were talking. You mentioned a crusade that started, and that is how you
we had a crusade at Uhuru Park, and I'm a Christian, so we had a big crowd, and we had a preacher coming in from South Africa, and when he was finishing, he said that anyone who had special needs would remain behind for prayers. So all the adults walked away, including other children, except these 3 children that I spotted standing next to where the equipment was. And I thought sometimes street children can be mischievous.
They can come and get away with
something.
Yeah.
So I moved closer to them and asked them why they had remained behind, and they said that they wanted also special prayers that the pastor had talked about. Then I asked them why, and they said that because they were orphans, they were living on the streets, they didn't have shelter or food, and they were not going to school. And school touched me because I'm a career teacher. Then I asked me if they asked them whether they were willing to be taken to school, and they answered to the affirmative. And quickly I remembered that I needed to keep close to them so that I would be,
you don't lose them.
Of course I don't lose them. So I invited them to join me at home, and they accepted to go with me to my
Which was
house.
quite a tricky move, because this was your home where you live, and these are strangers, and they're street children who can not be trusted most of the time.
Of course, definitely, yes. But I think now that's sometimes God takes over us. Because I even didn't see the negative side of the street boys. I saw the positive side, that they wanted to go to school. So when we got near to my house, I remembered that though I had these 3 children, there was someone very special that I hadn't informed. So I had to go in the house and explain to her that God had blessed us, and we were the most blessed during the crusade, and she was so happy.
And your blessings came in form of the 3 boys.
Hallelujah, praise God. And then I explained to her that I had got 3 children, and that they wanted to go to school, and she asked me where they were. That's when I went and brought them in, because I knew now they had been received. So my wife took over that role, and she boiled water and gave them a warm bath and clipped the nails. And changed their clothes, and now we could sit and discuss.
Because now they were looking like
they are now kids
acceptable.
like my own kids now, except the hair that we needed to take a barber
to have it shaved off.
So I also introduced the topic to my own children and told them that already we had 3 more, because I had 3 boys by that time. So that made the number 6. Then I told them we wanted to take these children to school, but it would be good for us to start a school where I'll not keep on spending money paying fees, but I can give my expertise. So yes, 2 of my sons received that very positively, but one was a little bit reluctant. I mean, how could we,
begin to learn with these children out of a regular routine.
And of course, and again, they had already heard that they were from the streets. But he came and took it very positively. And I want to tell you that right now he's a grown-up boy, and he loves dealing with the street children. So that's how the school was born. And now we began discussing about the name. St. Wellington, that's my name. St. Leonida, my wife. Those things will not work. So all of a sudden, it's like God spoke to me and said, well, I think it's Him doing this in us. So we came up with the name Anajali. God cares. And that also reminded me that he had cared for me to get where I got to help these children.
Help the children.
And therefore, I had a responsibility to give back by also caring for them.
these children.
I had got an experience because besides just being a regular teacher, I also ran a tuition center, and I would have different levels of children coming together. And therefore, I didn't have really a big challenge sorting them out and knowing how I was going to attend to third graders, first graders, and second graders by that time. Yeah, so we categorized them, and I became their head teacher, their class teacher, their class prefect. Everything.
Trying to put every
Yeah, the only challenge was my own sons, because at home they'd call me daddy, and immediately we stepped in class, I became teacher.
By bringing them every form of life.
Yeah, and that made the other three children blend so easily and bond with us, and we became one big family. And of course, being Christians, and we had got these children from the streets, I emphasized clearly that we were supposed to keep praying and reading the Bible before we began our activity. And that happens to date. When I chose to help the street children, I even got some friends who came and they were telling me, why don't you just get a center where you can bring in children to attract donor sympathy? And I told them, I'm very sorry, I am a teacher and I'll give the best. I can never have a center where children come and identify themselves and we take clips or photos, put on the internet and say we are soliciting for support. No. I told my friends I would give my best. So anybody who wanted to volunteer, we began from the volunteer teachers from our church. So they would come and I would set standards. That when you go to class, literacy class, by the end of this term, this should have been achieved. And from inception, the syllabus became our best friend. I knew how important it was to teach, referring to the syllabus. And if you do that, you will not produce half-baked students. Sometimes God has his own ways of operating. When we had got to the 6th grade, two American, I think they were not my friends because they just walked in school. And they saw what we were doing and they were so interested. And they asked me, Wellington, we can see you are doing a great job. What is the future of these children in 6th grade? And of course, that was my major challenge. What will I do with these children after class 8? So I told them, well, my major challenge is to see these children advance to high school. By that time, I had no email, I had no mobile phone, and that was that. So they left. Little did I know that they were counting years. So just after KCPE, they sent someone. And the guy came and told me, Wellington, do you remember Mike? I said, yes. He has sent me to you. He wants to know how the children performed. And I told him, well, in 2 weeks' time, the results will be out. Then he said, now this is his email address. Go and open up an email. You guys, you're lucky. You are digital. Pure analog. You don't know how to type the computer and nothing at all. So now I began learning the hard way. So I went and opened for an email address, and after the results, I sent him the whole thing. And he told me he had talked to the Denver Rotary Club in Colorado, the USA, and he had got sponsors for all the 20 students that sat for KCP in 2006.
Wonderful.
So again, I had run all my finances out until I closed all my bank accounts. So now I was forced to open an account so that the money would be wired to me. So indeed, they were very faithful. When all our students were admitted in high school, because our first KCP candidates, the first one scored 400 marks.
Wow.
Yeah. We had several 300. Oh,
teachers.
Yes. Especially the kid who remained and told me they were orphans, he wanted to go to school, he got straight A's.
And he was really interested
Yes, in education. And I of course, he secured a place at Cabernet High School. Wow. And in Form 4, he got an A.
That was
he
a
went to
thirsty
Moi
one.
University.
He was a thirsty
He's
one.
now a public health officer.
Wonderful.
As we speak now. And he's back to school taking a master's. So yes, they went to high school, and those who worked very hard, including my son, who is now doing his master's in education, also was among them. And I was so proud of him. He has stood with them. He has come back to help.
How has the journey been for you? Is this heart probably influenced by the journey itself?
I think before, I just lived like any other ordinary person who was working as a teacher. I would earn and go out and do my own things and have a bit of leisure and all that. But when I came to reflect on what was ahead of me and my family, I thought it would be good for me to give my life to Christ. And I think that was my turning point. And even before that, I think I'm just born with the big heart to help. I mean, I've lived with up to 30 children in my house. Life was not working very well. You know, sometimes when you are in the world and you're spending money, you go get a salary, and all you can do is come back home past 10 p.m. and you are in your own world and thinking that you can buy the whole of this Kenya, yet you have nothing in the pocket. I mean, sometimes it's very, especially for guys. Do you know guys that are very intelligent become almost useless when they're high on alcohol? And of course, I wasn't an exception. We still have a lot of challenges because when we began, we were a small population, and classes could accommodate up to 20 or so children. But right now, as we've seen in class, at least the demand is getting very high. So you may find a class of 50 or even slightly above that. So we are just praying that God will give us the favor to expand this school so that it can accommodate more. And as we stand in Langata, by the way, we post very impressive results, and I think that also has proved that the slum can produce top learners. Yeah, so as we stand today, last year alone we took 17 children to national schools. And our top girl going to the 4th most prestigious national school, Nakuru High School. Wow. Yeah, and I think when I see children come from Kibera to such prestigious national schools,
to interact with the luckiest children in the world,
and they come back, and if I show you their report books, because they bring them after end of the term.
They are
yes, yeah. When I sit at the beginning of the year with the preschool teachers, baby class, nursery and pre-unit, we set goals. We must know by the end of the first term what we want to achieve, and we have to achieve. If we don't, we must go back to the drawing board and see where we went wrong. And that has helped us to set standards that a class 1 teacher will take up a child that knows how to read. So I'll follow up to know why this child is dropping or improving. So we set standards, and I think by setting standards, every teacher takes responsibility, because the class teachers at Anajali are directors. We don't, as per se, call them class teachers. We call them class directors. When you are a director of a farm, you ensure that productivity must be high. Therefore, every director of a class, every teacher that steps to that particular class is answerable to the director of the class. So if the director feels that this teacher is underperforming, he or she recommends either a swap or maybe a refresher course, which we recommend that the teacher goes back for refresher training. So here regularly our teachers are training. Even yesterday, and they were at Ngei Primary School, where we had experts of social studies. So I send them for refresher courses every now and then. And also we have set competitions among the teachers. A teacher who turns up to be the best, of course, gets a reward. Yeah, sometimes I buy them laptops, sometimes I buy them tablets, sometimes a good expensive phone once in a while.
They are motivated.
Oh yeah.
Extremely motivated.
Oh yeah, so they work very hard, and if they are self-driven. Setting up to start school at 6:30 was not my making, but
it was their making. they have owned the school
Yes,
and the
asking
learning
the children
itself.
to come over on Saturday, we discovered that Mondays we would lose so many children. They would not come to school. So you'd wonder, we were here up to Friday. What happened? Then we discovered that anytime these children live here and they go into the slum, they go scavenging. Some of them go to town. You know, so by Monday, they don't know that it's school day. So the teachers came up with the method that the children be coming on Saturday, where they can be with them and do homework together.
The population here is from the slums. How do you manage to put them together and get them to focus on learning, being that they might be, facing so many challenges?
That's a good question. When we started, I would ask the children their dreams, and I would say, can you draw whom you want to be when you grow up? And you'll find one drawing a very ugly man with a machete in the hand, and you'd easily imagine what was going on in the
That
child's
is probably
mind.
the most powerful person they know.
Oh, yeah. But again, we now began introducing to them motivation speakers. They would come, and lawyers would come in. I would invite my friends. I would invite professionals to come and talk to them. And slowly they began now changing from what they thought they would become in the slum to a better person. With that, I think most of them now began dreaming big. They want to be engineers. They want to be pilots. And again, planes always pass here.
So they even dream bigger.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now they know there's somebody who runs that plane and wants to be that person.
And I told them not to hang on the plane like the
guy from Bungo.
Oh, yeah.
And staying on the foundation topic, what is it that you as a director expects from parents? What is their role? We know now what the teachers are expected to do, but what do you expect from parents?
I want to tell you
Especially
that
at class
the
one.
modern parent has ignored the child completely. And I stand to be challenged. Most of these parents will bring the children here, and you can only see them after summoning them. Maybe there's an incident you want to discuss about the child, or there's the parents' meeting. But we've come up with the modalities through the class reps. We sit with them, we agree, and we say we shall be having class level meetings where we have a smaller population of parents coming in to discuss the progress of the children, the challenges, and how best they can offer. I want to tell you that very soon we are going to have a trip in many years. And this is just the parents' initiative. They came up and said, we are going to approach our neighbors who have a bus, and we shall request that they give us a bus. And they went. So they came and told me, yes, we have been given a bus, so next July 15th, we shall take our preschool children to the animal orphanage for the first time in many years. You can imagine. The animal orphanage just next to us, but we've never been there. So we now, now we have brought on board the parents. Now they are playing more active roles. I've also given them, because we cannot afford diaries. So I've told them that at the back of the exercise book, create a column where you'll be giving comments. If the work has not been marked, just comment not marked. If the work is dirty, comment the work is dirty. And of course we agree with the teacher so that they don't look at the parent as if he is accusing them to
Or
me.
judging,
Yes. So I think we have all now come together and we have created a very good playing ground where parents have taken responsibility, but they use for TV at home. I know TV is good, we love it, but children watch things. They come here and all those, I think they call them soap operas.
Soap operas.
I don't watch them, but the children have all the characters. So where a child should be having a formula for calculating the area of a circle, he has so many funny names. This, this, and this. So sometimes you talk to the parent to ensure that at every intro of a program, there is a notification or a warning that this is eligible for this bracket of age of people, that the parents should be reminding the children. If it's for adults, just kindly remind a child that I am an adult. No, please, that's for adults. Yeah, so I think again they are receiving it and
they're working on it. Just broken down, really in a layman's language, what are the 5 things that you think a parent has to do?
1, the parent has to set up a church in his or her own home. Whether Muslim or a Christian, the first mosque should be in the home. Every evening before they go to bed, they must have a fellowship. read a scripture from the Bible or Quran, talk about God, because you can see the world is really getting into the youth. Most youth go clubbing, and some of them who go to university, if you follow them up, you'll find that they leave on Thursday and they come back on Wednesday. So, I mean, look at that. So I think if they set up the churches in their homes, these children will grow up knowing that we are special, we are made and created in God's image, and therefore we are a reflection of God. Then two, parents must be a mirror. You know, you can never look into a mirror and see a different person. So when you smoke and you send your child to buy a cigarette, and in turn you tell the child, this cigarette is bad, you are not a mirror to that child. So we must be good examples. And also parents must learn to solve their differences amicably. I've been married for the last 29 years.
It's a long time.
I went to church and the pastor asked a simple question. How many of you are married? And the hands went up. And how many have never fought since they got married? There were only 2 hands that went up. You can guess whose hands they were. Mine and my wife's. In a church of over 100 members. So you can see how people have really vilified marriage. Marriage is a permanent institution that God has created. So when we are there, we must be good examples. And we must encourage children to go to church. You find adults going to church and they leave children at home. So how will these children learn? And when you take the child to Sunday school, also follow up and know who are the teachers handling your children. You may take children to Sunday school to wrong people, rogue preachers who are going to abuse your children. So I think basically I'll base so much on spirituality because that has helped me bring up a good family. My children have no problem. When I go on safari, even for 6 months, I leave the car key on the table. My sons will just tell me, Daddy, we want to go and do shopping. And indeed, you'll find them doing shopping. But you can never find them going clubbing because they know that's not a priority in their life. All right? So if we all can set up churches in our own homes, it will really help. Be good teachers. You know, parents will always say, for example, a child comes home with some assignment and the child goes to the mother and says, Mom, can you help me? Then mom says, I've paid fees.
The teacher has to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm too busy to help you. So we must also know that God gave us these children. Do you know that every child is created with 27%? And 27%, if you look at the grading, that's an E. That can never take a child to university. The first 28, 29, 30 should just come from the parent. So if the parent thinks that the teacher will put the remaining 73%, then the parent is wrong. So the parent becomes the first teacher, and then the teacher at school, and then the environment, right? So if the parent takes the leading role in the life of the children, in the life of the child during the initial development stages, it's very good. You can find that most parents are now becoming very busy. They take the children to baby care. They come back past 10, and the maid is there sleeping with the child. So, I mean...
I could be a victim.
I don't know.
I could be a victim. And finally, the fifth one.
I think again, I really feel that good parents should take education of the children seriously and also look at where they take the children for education. Don't just take a child to any school. Take a child to a school that has a vision, a school that has set up very clear objectives, why it is there. And such, they should be able to also appreciate the teachers. You know, when you talk, when you disregard the importance of a teacher before the child does not respect the teacher. So when you have some difference with the teacher, please ensure that you square it out without involving the child. Yeah, so that the child just knows that my teacher is a very important person. And with that, again, the teachers have to make a very good, parents have to encourage, I encourage parents to make good relations with the teachers. That they are one unit of a family bringing up this child.
This particular child.
Yes, so
thank you very much, Mr. Naboba. It has been a pleasure and an honor.
Asante sana.
Thank you
for welcoming us to Anajali and for talking to KUTV and elimu.
We are honored and privileged, and God bless you so much. You're welcome always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Karibu.
Bronze, silver, gold, no, it's you.
And you're watching!
It
It is always a great joy when a learner graduates from kindergarten to primary school level, and especially at class 1. But do you know what they ought to learn at this level? The activities they need to engage in to acquire better character or social skills. Do you know your role as a parent, or the roles and responsibilities of the teachers and the stakeholders? Elimu Nguvu brought you to Anajali Primary School at the heart of Kibera, an oasis that is building a better generation to change this society, to bring you on board into what happens in class 1. Thank you for choosing Elimu Nguvu tonight. I'm your host, Corazon Safan. Do give us your feedback on our SMS line 22766 or our Twitter handles at elimuni_nguvu or at KUTV or at Corazon Safan.
5 senses, 6 words. I found my treasure in you.